doing? Happy Saturday, beautiful day. How you are doing? As you can see, I am under my tree in New York. Yes, we have trees. It's not only Montecito could have their trees. Harry and Meghan could be hanging out in their trees. I am hanging out under our tree in New York. So there. And it's so funny. I think this girl in front of me is doing like a photo shoot or something. I'm like, at first I was like, what is she doing? And then I just noticed that she has her camera thing there. So I think she is doing probably what I am doing sitting here. She is standing there in front of her camera doing whatever it is she's doing. But other than that, how are you all? I hope you guys are well, doing great things. I hope it's nice and bright and sunshiny wherever you are in the world. Welcome, welcome, welcome. What is going on in the world of our faves? Well, I'm assuming they're doing what I am doing right now, which is sitting under my tree, sitting under their tree, and doing whatever it is they're doing in Montecito. Hello, hello, hello. I'm not sure why my chat isn't working. I'm not sure if anybody is chatting yet, but maybe you're not. Not sure. Hang on. Let's see. Chat. Uh, hmm. Okay, maybe you guys not chatting yet, so that's fine. Um, I was just like, well, I didn't see anybody in the chat, but anyways, either way, I'm just hanging and just as you can see, just about tons of people walking by in New York doing whatever. But anyways, what is going on with our faves? Not much, not much at all, and. And it's so typical of New York because I'm literally sitting here, and there is a rat running by among the people of New York, and they're just part of the community, I guess. They're not even afraid of people. It is just so weird in this city. But hello, Judy and Bonnie. Hello, hello. I guess the chat is working. So I'll be there for a minute, but I guess it is working. But yeah, our faves aren't, silent. And yesterday they put out a new video and of their trip to Colombia. Beautiful video. If you haven't seen it, I put the link in our community page yesterday, so you should see it there. And just behind the scenes clips that that hadn't we hadn't seen before. Some of them that we've seen, but the majority we hadn't seen, including it looks like the living elders of Colombia. And I love these Afro-Caribbean neighborhoods. Hello, Black Queen, how are you doing? Awesome moderator. And yeah, it looks like the living ancestors in Colombia anointing Meghan, and I'm assuming Harry. There's another photo of her anointing a little girl that I guess that was part of the dance troupe that Harry and Meghan were watching and dancing with. And yeah, very, very cool. And so it was really interesting. I think it was People, because for some reason they have the exclusive again. I don't like People, but the Sussexes trust them, so they claim they have an exclusive. Although this information was on the Sussex's website, they claim to have an exclusive, but part of their exclusive is that Meghan got an anointing. I'm assuming Harry got one too. An anointing of prosperity, future prosperity. That must rub the royals the wrong way because, oh, Bonnie says Harry was well into the prayer, eyes closed. Yes, he was. Yes, he was. So I'm assuming he got a bit of anointing as well, of good luck and prosperity as well. But those in Shutter Island just assume they're gonna be broke anytime, any minute now. So that must not go over well with. Very, very funny. It's just like, oh, they're just everything in their mind is for Harry and Meghan to go broke so they can come back to the royal family. But anyways, who knows? um, but yeah, so that I mean, I love the video. I absolutely love and also too, as I read in a couple of, or we looked at in a couple of the episodes, they also announced that they are going to be funding one group. one group's gonna have new drums. That's the place that they were playing drums, and I love the fact that they gave us a little bit more of the drums of they were they were being taught like a drum combination, and so they were doing that, and that was very very cool. And they're also going to be funding another place, so it looks like financially funding one place, and then another place they're going to be expanding like a mental health wellness center thing for kids. So they're going to be doing that, and they're going to be doing that, those three different places I should say right now in Colombia. And so very very cool, very exciting for Colombia. And again, this is what the vice president had asked them if they could fund things, and they are funding. And so it's very very cool to see Harry and Meghan step in. And I knew they were going to fund it. I mean, why wouldn't they? This is right, this is exactly the things that they would want to fund. So when I saw that she asked, and of course she asked, why wouldn't you? There are rich people who are funding things, of course you ask. And so I'm so happy, and I think even if she didn't ask, the Sussexes would have done it anyway, because this is exactly the kind of things that they would fund. So it's very 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 nice, very exciting to see them do that. Yeah, and I mean, I'm just so excited about this trip, and excited to see what other trips they're gonna be doing. And and the funny thing about this is certainly just with them, one, the trip being so successful, shutting out the British press. It's really weird because in the last day or so, you could see the narrative kind of soften. Even like the little, when you go looking, Googling things, you come across different British press. Their British press headlines, and you could see not so much, not a lot, but you could even see a little bit of softening of the narrative, because I think they realize, like, okay, what we're doing is not working. We're not going to shut them down. We cannot we can't take them out as we wanted to take them out. We can't destroy them the way we want, or at least we thought we could have destroyed them. They're not going away. They're going to do what it is they want to do, and there's nothing the royal family can do about it. So if we don't want to be shut out again for the next thing, we better soften or change our narrative and actually speak the truth. So you still see some of them who still haven't yet learned, but you could see a softening of it, where people are now talking about. I came across one of the articles that says, I think the headline says something about, the success of the tour, and how they're changing, it's sort of like they're reinventing royal tours, even though the majority of them were claiming, oh, it's not a royal tour, it's not a royal tour, which it isn't. And, so all of a sudden it's like they're reinventing royal tours. And now you're seeing, we saw Charles came out and visited the parents of the young girls who got killed. And now today I saw something where William is now announced he is going to be coming back, and I guess his first engagement. So I think my thing with this is, if nothing else, it will light a fire under the royals, because again, they have to justify getting the sovereign grant, and then they're gonna have to justify that raise they got, because here are the Sussexes once again not getting paid, not paying their own way, not getting taxpayer funding, and they are doing royal tours. Well, they're doing tours, not royal tours, but they are royals. They're doing it better than the ones who supposedly that is their job to do. And so they're going to have to justify it. And people, even their own reporters are like, they're beginning to be like, So the royal family are going to really have to get on the ball. And so it'll be very interesting to see what they would do. It'll be very interesting. And apparently, not Richard Williams' first engagement is going to be about the homeless charity that he is part of, and doing stuff for them. And the first engagement is going to be a charity fund. It's going to be like a homeless event in a museum. And I'm like, well, that's interesting. I've never thought about going to learn about the homeless in a museum before. That would be. I'm like, I wonder how many homeless people will be in that museum. It's just very interesting. Like, how many of them, and how many of them are going to be in that museum? And it's so weird that that is gonna be his first event. And not only that, apparently he's doing a documentary with ITV about the homeless. Like, you could just go hang out with the homeless and you'll find out about their life. But okay, you're going to make a documentary about them. Very interesting. I'm like, and of course he thinks and feels like he can end homelessness. And look, he does have the resources. He has the lands. He has the homes in which he can do this. He also has connections. He also has connections with which he can do this, and it is very, very sad that he's going through all of this like rigmarole just to do something that he already has the resources to do. And it just like they're not really, oh my gosh, there are these like rodents that are I'm gonna get out of this place. I was like, I don't think I want to be around rodents. But anyways, you could just walk with me as I walk into the park and get away from New York's resident rodents. Uh, you never know the things you're gonna see in this park sometimes. But anyways, as you can see, hang on one second give me 1 second as I turn this slowly around here. You can probably hear some music going on there. But yeah, for someone who has all the resources he has, I don't understand why, and not only him, but his entire family has. I don't exactly know why it is so they have to go through or at least they're choosing to go through all this rigmarole when all they need to do is donate some of the land and the homes that they have to take care of this. And so it just like y'all have like a million homes. As King Charles alone he can live in one home every single day, and every single day. And it's just like you have the homes, you have the land, you have the resources. Why are you going through all of this rigmarole? And so it just I would never understand them. I would never understand But look, if as much as it's irritating just even watching them do this nonsense, it's like I don't wish them bad, and I wish it success, because if it is successful, then homeless people are going to get off the streets. And for me, that is the most important thing. I don't really care who does it as long as it's done. It's just the way they're going about it. It's kind of like they're adding red tape where there doesn't need to be one. And so I'm like, you have castles that are just literally sitting there empty. You have a whole Buckingham Palace with 700 and something rooms that is just sitting there. You have Windsor Castle with over 1,000 rooms that is just sitting there. You have St. James Palace. There's, the palaces in Scotland, Holyrood, and all of these. I mean, yes, a lot of those, some of those belong to the people of the UK. Why is it that they're not opening up those palaces so that people can have a place to stay? So it's just like, but no, of course they don't want to do that because it's history. They want to keep it as a museum so they can make money off of it. And it just, and so I guess this whole rigmarole is so that they could feel like, well, I'm doing something. It'll be too easy to just give one of the palaces so people can live in them. It is just crazy. I'm like, do you guys want to do this or not? And then, of course, I saw this interview with Robert Jobson. Robert Jobson is going to be forever bitter because, as I posted on X, somewhere in Robert Jobson's house is an unfinished memoir called Harry at 40, which he started writing before Harry wrote Spare. And if you remember when it came out that Harry was going to write his own memoir, Robert Jobson went on a campaign of hate against Harry. The bitterness was everywhere to the point where he was actually even threatening Harry. And you know, and I know because from that moment, what, 2 years ago when we found out, 2.5, 3 years ago when we found out Harry's writing his memoir, I said back then the reason that Robert Jobson is angry is because he started writing Harry at 40, and he cannot complete it and he cannot publish it because Harry did spare, and so he is now still on a bitterness phase. And you know, Robert Jobson, every time he come across that memoir, that unfinished memoir, or that unfinished biography of Harry called Harry at 40, that he cannot make money on, the bitterness that runs through his veins must be intense. It's so hilarious because, you know, I mean, if you followed I mean, maybe you don't follow Robert Jefferson's career, or if you know anything about him, that he absolutely has an unfinished manuscript called Harry at 40. So yeah, and he can't publish it because Harry did spare, and I don't think Kate's book is doing very well at all because nobody cares. Kate hasn't done anything. What are you going to put in a book about Kate? The same rehash stuff that he got from all kinds of news outlets, and there's not much to tell. And so that book has not done anything. As people know it would. And we pretty much ignored him and his book. So, and a lot of people just slammed the book because it's like, this is stupid. And we're just happy about that. So yeah. Hello, my friends who are in the chat. Let's see. Cookies and Cream, our awesome moderator. And Black Queen, I see you there again. And Paulette and Dee Dee. And Terry. Hi, guys. Connie. Hi, guys. Connie Bama. And Claudia. Maddie is here. Hi, guys. Let's see, Lakiva. As you can hear, there's this bird that just literally came right next to me and is now singing. As you can see right there. Hello, bird. Hi. Hi. Let's let the bird sing to you. Hi. It's just so wild. It just all of a sudden came and just sat there and like squawking at me. I mean, I'm assuming it's singing. I don't know what it's doing exactly. So, hello. There it is. Oh, well. Yeah, Central Park is so beautiful. It is beautiful. That's why I love to come here. It's like you can find all kind of things and creatures here, including a little rodent friend that I just ran away from on the other side. I was like, yeah, that's a little bit much. And you could probably hear a sax playing up in the castle up there. So yeah. Let's see. What else is happening? Not a whole lot, actually. Not a whole lot at all. Just the British press still whining about being shut out, which I mean, I cannot tell you how much I love that. And it's so funny because people put out this article, which I'm sure is probably not even true, claiming that some friend or some former coworker or employee of the Sussexes said that Meghan has asked Harry to, she wants Harry to put this whole thing with the press and all that stuff behind them and focus on the future. Now, whether that is true or not, I don't know. But, I mean, who knows? I don't. But if it is true, I mean, I could understand that, wanting to leave that whole nonsense behind and just focus on the future and not really focus on what they're doing, what the British press is doing, and just sort of go on with your life. I could totally understand that. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. But if it is, I could totally understand it. And if it is true and they're doing just another way of, dealing with the press, well, what they did in Colombia is perfect. What they did in Colombia is absolutely perfect in not just shutting them out. So if it is true that that they're just gonna put all this the lawsuit stuff behind them and just move forward and just, figure out a new way of going, which again, I have no idea if that's true or not. But if it is true that that's what they want to do, this is a great way to do it. Just literally, if they're going to leave the past, leave what happened in the past, then shutting them out in the future is the greatest way to do it. Just completely shut them out. I was even imagining them, being in the UK for Invictus and literally shutting out the British press in their own country. Because I am very petty, I will totally, and I can totally want to do that. I totally would want to do that. I just think that would be amazing to just literally shut them out in their own country and then just have the international press. I mean, I don't know if that's possible or not, but hey, I would do it. I would totally do it. So yeah, that would be funny if that could happen. So this little bird is going crazy over there. I don't know what it's doing, but yeah, very interesting. And it's so funny because with that one news article about that topic, a ton of other British press articles, or at least their headlines, are claiming that that Meghan is pressuring Harry and all. They would love that, because that, if that happens, that would mean it'll let them off the hook, which is what they would advocate for forever, for Harry to drop those lawsuits, because they don't want to deal with it. They want to be able to get a free pass after all the abuse they have, doled out on the Sussexes. And so they would definitely want a free pass. And so, yeah, very, very, so they will advocate for that forever. Yeah, so, but again, who knows if that is true? That's what people says. But again, you don't know if it's true, because Harry and Meghan do work with People magazine, and they're the ones that said it. So who knows? They can also just be, trying to find some kind of gossip. That could be it as well. Hello, Doris. How are you? Hi, Dee Dee. Hi, guys. Let's see. Claudia says, I think it's a lie. That could very well be the truth also. It could very well be a lie. Because again, say what you want. Some people, when I say People magazine is a tabloid, a lot of people disagree with me. And so I think it's a tabloid. For me, even though the Sussexes work with them, I think it's a tabloid. For me, some of their stuff is just gossip, and when you're dealing in gossip like that, I'm like, yeah, you're a tabloid. So yeah, but again, the Sussexes do work with them. I mean, they were on the trip to Nigeria, the only news outlet they took with them on the trip to Nigeria. This time they took Harper's Bazaar, but yeah, they do work with them. So who knows? Bonnie Mighty is like, I don't believe it. Fair enough. I don't trust people either, but again, it's hard to tell if it's the truth. And the Sussexes have not said anything about it. They have not commented anything, so I don't know. I don't know if it's the truth or not. So yeah. Oh wait, Black Queen. Oh, 19 months. Thank you so much. Let's better look. If it's one of the ravens come across, if it's one of the ravens from across the pond, it escaped and is trying to tell you the secrets. Listen to it. Oh dear. Well, it went away. Raven, where are you? So ravens tell the secrets? I didn't know about that. See, I had no idea. Thank you. See, I had no idea. Next time when a raven, I didn't even know what kind of bird it was. So yeah, I have no idea. So who knows? So, let's see. What else? I don't know. What else is happening in New York? I'm just gonna walk up to me and just about everyone else walking up to the park, to the castle. It's probably very, very busy up there because so many people love to be up there. And so, yeah. I'm just going to show you guys. Let's see. Didi says, Meghan says they have to stand for something. It is the right thing to do. They will always fight for what is right. Yeah. They definitely will. But again, if they chose to go another direction, I could totally understand because honestly, you don't want to spend the rest of your life dealing with the British press. You literally don't. No matter why. I wouldn't want to spend my life dealing with that nonsense. I mean, after a while, it's just like they're just not worth it. They're just not worth you. It's just not worth you spending because it's almost like, am I wasting my time just even fighting these people because they're not going to change? And especially now they have a government. Ooh, hang on one second. My thing just went crazy here. Ah, there we go. Yeah, especially that they have a government that just they're not going to change. Even though it's a new government, Keir Starmer is firmly in the bed in the bed with the sun with Rupert Murdoch, so he's not going to change it. And so until they have a government that's going to make changes for the press, even if you win a judgment, the culture of the British press is never going to change. So yeah, yeah, it's not. So it's like, okay, you can win, but they're gonna keep doing the same thing because even if you win, the judgment is so small that it doesn't really affect them. I mean, if you were in the U.S., you can get really a lot of money. In the UK, the judgments are very, very small. It's just like 100 and something thousand dollars. And it's just like, well, was that worth all the heartache and the pain and all the stuff you go through for just that little bit of money? So, and then also there are no changes. They're not making any changes. So it's very interesting that, with the UK, it's like you get to a point where is this even worth it? So, yeah. Um, Joy says, I believe the story got started by Jenny Bond and people repeated it. Oh, really? I saw it in People like a couple of weeks ago. And so I don't know. I mean, I don't know where that started. So I don't know. So yeah. But if it, no, like if it started in by Jenny Bond, then that's definitely wishful thinking. So I thought People is the one that had the exclusive on that. So who knows? Oh, wait. Black Queen says, peddle one of the ravens from the royal tower. The superstition is that if a raven escapes, it's the end of the monarchy. Oh, are you kidding? And I'm at Belvedere Castle. Oh, I am at a castle. So, oh my goodness, my word. Well, the Republic group would be very happy to hear this. They would be very happy to hear that this is the end of the monarchy because, they are fighting to end this monarchy as is. So, yeah. Thank you, Joyce. Very, very interesting. Yes. But, and the thing about the monarchy is like, I don't even understand, like, even if you are about the monarchy, what are the benefits of this monarchy really? Because I mean, you even saw, say, case in point, what happened with the riots. They are supposed to be the people that are bringing unity to the country or giving hope or whatever it is. At least have a few olive branch to do something with, apart from trying to, use Harry and Meghan with your stupid olive branch story. Well, this could have been a great olive branch story thing with them, and they failed to do anything until it was all over. Then they come out to make it all about them, and at least Charles did. And it's like, well, what is the point then? What is the point of you? So yeah, very interesting. um let's see. Hi, Paulina, how are you? Let's see what else you guys are saying. Oh, back to Colombia. Cookies and Cream says, I'm glad the Sussexes didn't use People magazine for their Colombian trip. They are a gossip rag publication. They sometimes follow the talking points of the racist British press. Yeah, they do that a lot. And so we saw them do that right after the Nigeria trip, especially with that nonsense with with Archwell, claiming that Archwell is, that I forgot what they called it. when they claimed that Archwell did not pay the fees for their nonprofit and all of that nonsense. And so right away, people picked that up and ran with it. And I mean, anybody with common sense would know that that's nonsense. Anyone, and they just, disregarded it and just went with the narrative. They just went with the crazy narrative that I think it was the New York Post started. And so instead of like, okay, this doesn't make any sense, this is stupid, they just ran with the narrative. And so again, I don't know why the Sussexes use them. I have no idea. So I don't know why they trust them to use them. So I'm glad they didn't use them as well in Nigeria. Maybe they're like, yeah, nah, we gave you a chance and you blew it. Hopefully that is the case. The delinquency. Yes, thank you. Thank you. I couldn't remember the word that they used and said the Sussexes, that Archwell was delinquent. And it's just like, I mean, the whole thing was so ridiculous. You knew that there was something very, but yeah. But again, they're about gossip. So yes. Oh, our little raven little bird is back, but she's not saying anything this time. She's just sort of sitting on the bench. Maybe she wanted me to get off the bench, so I'm off her bench. So there you go. She's not saying a word. So he or she is not saying a word. So there. Um, Hi, Patricia. How are you? I am well. Hope you are as well. As you can see, I'm just in the park hanging out under trees. Yeah, I was under a tree, but I saw a rodent and ran off. So, yeah, so New York is just, our rodents are very, shall we say, friendly, a little too friendly. I'm not into that. So, yeah, I went off and left it to do whatever it is it wants to do. So, yeah. What else is happening? Just scrolling to your chat to see if you're saying anything else. Oh, by the way, our own Karen has the event coming up on the 14th in New York celebrating Prince Harry's birthday. So if you're in New York and you want to go by, the link, you know what, actually I'm going to put the link again. It's in the community page, but it's been a while since I posted it, so it's must be buried there, so I'm going to post it again. But if you're in New York, or if you're flying into New York, or if you want to fly into New York, there's a link there to get tickets to Karen's event celebrating Prince Harry's birthday. I think it's the day before. I think Harry's birthday is the 15th, and that is on the 14th, so it's the day before Harry's birthday. And so yeah, celebrating Harry's 40th birthday. My goodness, I wonder what he's doing for his birthday. That'd be very interesting to see. But again, they usually celebrate privately, and so we don't really know. We don't really ever know what they're doing, and so which is great. They're having their private time, and so as it should be. So yeah. Let's see. And if you guys are on, I think I post it. I don't know if I did, but it's really cool to see like one of the schools back in Colombia, one of the schools that Harry and Meghan went to, actually the school where she met that little girl who imprinted on her, on Meghan. They posted about the visit, and posted pictures like, we would never forget. Hi, Martine. Yeah, so they posted on social media, on Instagram, about Harry and Meghan visiting, and also the dance group that brought Harry and Meghan up on their stage to do their salsa thing. That group also posted, and one of the things that's so important to them, they have mentioned how the visit basically put a spotlight on their group. So and that's the whole thing, because the majority of us didn't even know they were there. And so it brings attention to their group so that they can do more things, and more people would be and more people can they can, one, learn about them and maybe hire them to do performances and stuff. This is going to bring great attention, and I'm sure it has brought great attention to their group. And so, yeah, very, very, very exciting for them. So, and that's one of the great things too. And also, I saw someone else posting about the tourists, the tourism that will help the country, because with Harry and Meghan going there, all of a sudden people are going to be like, oh my God, I guess it's not all that bad. And they might, want to go to Colombia as well. So very, very, very exciting for them. And that stuff money can't buy, that kind of attention. Excuse me, something is tickling my throat. That kind of attention, money simply can't buy. So very, very cool. Very, very cool for them. So yeah, let's see. I wonder, I was trying to think of like where Harry and Meghan are going to be going next. I mean, I would just, I'm like, South Korea would be nice. Or someone mentioned Argentina. Argentina, if they went to Argentina, that would be so amazing, because then they can get to hang out with Nacho and his family. That would be so cool if they went to Argentina. It's like, oh, that'd be awesome. So yeah. Other than that, again, for me, it's just this whole thing lighting a fire under under the especially the whales is. But it would be very interesting to me to see what their, if their, future royal tours, if there are any more, what it would look like. And would they try to make it different to, because again, Harry and Meghan are setting the standard. Not only are they showing up, but then they're also funding, and they're building relationships with the organizations and staying with them and helping to, fund and all of that stuff. How is it going to be different with the royals? And not only that, I saw that they just put out I guess the financials of the Royal Foundation, claiming that they took in more money than the Sussexes, I guess last year or something like that. I'm like, the Sussexes aren't fundraising, so that's that's kind of a stupid comparison, and especially the fact that the Sussexes are not getting taxpayer funds and all of that stuff. And so even if they took in more, that's according to the news outlets. I haven't really gone into their financials. I'm like, I just didn't even feel like doing it. But I'm like, well, okay, so if they took in more, what kind of impact are they making with all the money they took in? Are they making an impact as the Sussexes are doing? And it's like, it's great, take in more money, that's great. But what's your impact? What is the impact you are making? And so, and if you're not making impact, well, then what is the point of all the money that you're in? So what is the point of doing any of that stuff? So yeah, that's my thing with all of that craziness. As you can see, I'm like walking away from here. So yeah, let's see. So they are doing in this area, there's usually like the Delacorte Theater that I'm walking, and and that is like the theater outside, and so they have like a lot of Shakespeare happening there. And so, but now they are renovating it, and so all of it is kind of closed down. And so it's kind of sad, because I came over, I'm like, oh, let's just go hang out at the Delacorte. I haven't been over here in like a month or two, something like that. And I was like, oh, they're renovating it. So I couldn't get to go to the Delacorte. And yeah, but the surrounding areas are cool, so it's all right. It is okay. So you can walk with me as I walk the path. Or maybe I'll just go this path. You can walk the cobbled streets. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, let's see. Terry says absolutely no impact. They are paid for doing nothing. And that's the thing. I mean, even with William's homeless charity thing. It's like you have all of these resources. How is it you have so little impact? It's like the homeless, even if you do a documentary on an ITV, well, how is that benefit? I mean, is ITV paying you money to do it, and you're donating? I mean, is ITV donating money to the homeless? I mean, what is the documentary for exactly? I mean, and all of this stuff is just to big up William, because it's like, what are you doing? And even the homes that he's supposedly building, it's not free and it's not permanent. And so it's just like, well, what is it for exactly? They're doing like these 5-bedroom homes. And you're like, well, what homeless person do you know can afford a 5-bedroom home? It all just makes no sense whatsoever. And so I'm like, what on earth are you doing? So oh God, I don't know. But I am just happy that our faves have a plan and they're doing, it must gall them, right? That the Sussexes, they're not working with Home Office. They're not working with any of those things, and look at how successful and simple it is. They're not doing all of this rigmarole, and yet they're so incredibly successful at what they're doing. So yeah. Um, Oh, sorry. Can you? I'm hoping you guys are hearing me. I know I'm walking under trees, and so I don't know if you can hear me as I'm walking through. I don't know. It's just a little flower garden path as I leave the Delacorte Theater. So yeah, so a little rigmarole as you're taking a stroll with me in Central Park. um, Cookies and Cream says that ungodly family is plagued with racism, jealousy, immorality, hypocrisy, and indecency. And you can add whatever you want to add to that one. True in all sense. It just, I think with me is, look, we're all human beings and we are all messes, right? I'm sure some of us have maybe all of this stuff or some of it involved in our lives at some point, right? But it's kind of like, you have this stuff in your life, but you want to change and be a better person, right? You don't want to just hide that stuff, or have people you pay people to hide that stuff, or you collude with people to hide it so that you never change it. The point is, we all have mess, but the goal of it is to change and be better people. And that's the thing that you don't see with these people. They don't change. They just pay people to either take the fall for them, or just to look the other way. Because again, how long have William have been on vacation? He's been on vacation pretty much the entire year. And if the Sussexes were that way, and they were getting taxpayer funds, what the narrative would be. And yes, they could be like, oh, but he's taking care of his wife, whatever. But look at how Meghan was, and they didn't care. They did not care. So it's kind of like, let's hide William. Let's hide the fact that he has not been doing anything, and then come back and his first engagement is going to be in a museum. And I'm like, again, what homeless? How many homeless people are going to go and see this? Going to this museum to see the stories of their lives, I guess. And it's just like, okay. That's interesting artistically, but exactly how is that helping homeless people again? And how does this benefit them in any way? So that's the thing that I just can't. Black Queen, thank you so much for posting the link. I appreciate it. Let's see. Thank you guys as I'm walking through the park with me. So yeah. Lorna says this is Willie Leaks being. This is a Willie Leaks. Anything Harry does, I can do better. Remember, Harry has a documentary coming out on the history of polo. Of course. And of course, we remember Harry just did an ITV documentary about, the press, really outing the press. So of course. And they could say, okay, William has been working on this for a year or whatever. cameras have been following him as he documents this. And, I guess the situation with the homeless and stuff. But again, the same thing, if the Sussexes had cameras following them all year, what would the narrative be? Doesn't matter what the Sussexes are going to, what the Sussexes, the topic is. You know what the narrative would be if the Sussexes had cameras following them everywhere. And again, when you pay or you give people access so that they would overlook the things that normally they would attack you over. So yeah, very 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 interesting. So yeah, let's see. Oh, these flowers are really cute. Let's see. And it's so weird how with William and this jealousy thing with Harry, it's kind of like it's one of those things where someone has so much, but they just can't rest because they just cannot rest if they think someone has even close to what they have. And I'm like, dude, you have so much. Why would you be jealous of what Harry has, or everything Harry has you need to have or have better? Like, that is so crazy to me. That kind of jealousy and that kind of pettiness is just so crazy. I don't even like and especially if that it's a family member. Like, why wouldn't you want a family member to have as much as you do? Like, I don't, and it's your brother no less. That is just, I can't even relate to stuff like this. I'm like, why? You always want your family to have, the best of the best. So you'd want your brother to, have the best of the best. And so, and especially like he's gonna inherit and has inherited everything. And it's just like, but your brother just has this one thing. Can you not just be happy for him? And it just, no. And it's the same thing with King Charles. Is there's this greediness. And whatever you think about Andrew or whatever, Andrew has his faults and he has all of his issues. But I think the same thing with that. And he has, Andrew definitely. But again, it's like the same thing with trying to take the home that he has and has a lease for 75 years. Look, if you're not going to put Andrew in jail because of what he did, which is where he belongs, and he's living there, let the man live in the house. You have, like, again, Charles has over 7 homes or probably more, where they said, like, he can just live in one house per day. He has a house for every day of the week. Your brother has one. Yes, it's a huge house, yes. And yes, you're paying security, as you should. But he only has one. Why do you want to take it away? And again, if y'all not going to jail Andrew, well, let him have the house. Why do you need to have another one? And it's just the same greediness as what I see in William. It's just like, gosh, y'all inherited everything. Leave the rest of your family to have something. So, yeah. Cream says, the scenery is beautiful. Central Park is beautiful, especially this time of year. Yeah, it is. It is fun. It is fun to be out in the park, just hanging out with the trees. As you can see, I'm just like hanging out. Ooh. Yeah, it's just trees everywhere. And of course, all New Yorkers are hanging out here as well. So the park is just very, very, very busy. So I'm trying to stay away from the people. So therefore, I'm just, yeah. Let's see. Hi, Ghislaine. Ghislaine is here. Let's see. I'm just scrolling through the chat. Lakiva says William's money is slaved money. Of course, all their money is. I mean, the majority of what the Queen has and has passed down to King Charles is from slavery. It's from the money that they got from slavery. And so I am actually finishing up. I think I have about half an hour left on this book, so I'm listening to it. Graham Smith, who is, again, I I've not always agreed with some of the things that Graham Smith has done, especially when he went after Prince Harry for no reason, and then Harry had to slap him down and he had to apologize. But ever since then, he has been on the straight and narrow, especially when it comes to the Sussexes. And he wrote a really great book, and I'm actually finishing it up, about why the monarchy, why we need to, or not we, but the British need to, abolish the monarchy. And he makes some great points about the money that they have now, and how really the majority of it, and the majority of what the queen, the wealth from the queen and what King Charles has now, it is from the slave trade. And so, yeah, they are still living about it. And he even mentioned about in the Harry and Meghan docu-series when shoot, what is her name? Oh, all of a sudden her name slipped me. But Meghan had her on. Oh Lord, you guys can remember her name. She talked about those people who inherited wealth, who basically stole wealth from the different colonies, and the former colonies, and how today they are still wealthy. They are still living off that wealth, and the people that they stole it from are still living in the abject poverty that they left them in. And so the wealth, I mean, they could say, well, oh no, it's not me that did it, it's my ancestors. But as of today, they are still benefiting from the wealth that was stolen. So it's like, if they can benefit today from that wealth that was stolen, then they need to acknowledge and they need to apologize for what their ancestors did. Because again, they are still profiting off of what their ancestors stole. So then, if you could take the money that they stole and be profiting and benefiting from it, then you got to take also their evil deeds and apologize for it and pay reparations. So yeah, they want to have it both ways. They want to keep the money, but they want to, when you call for reparations and stuff, they want to be claiming that, oh, no, it's not me, it's my ancestors. Well, you have their money. You're still benefiting and using their money, and that money is still propping you up. So if you want to claim the money, then you got to claim the responsibility too. So yeah, so that book is really, really great. It really makes a strong argument for why the monarchy should be abolished. Not the least of it is that they are of no value. So yeah. And Louis says the two of them, Charles and William, were trained. Everyone must bow to them, as it was ingrained from the cult. Time has moved on, but not the monarchy and their attitudes. Oh, I didn't realize they were training. They were trained that people have to bow to them. I know that they have to, call them sir or your whatever it is you call King Charles, and he gets upset if people doesn't show him enough deference. I didn't realize they were also trained to bow to them. Oh gosh, can you imagine? Bow, or I guess curtsy. Sheesh. Sheesh. I mean, literally, sheesh. So, let's see. Yeah, they are really stuck in the past. I mean, and they're not stuck. I think the past has served them well, so they don't feel like they don't need to move on. And I think people in the UK need to move on from them, and then they're not going to have a choice but to. But if you're still going along and really behaving as if you are a subject, then they're gonna treat you as you are their subject. And I think that it is very true. People are gonna treat you the way you allow them to treat you. So I think the people of the UK need to stop being subjects. Stop acting like you are beneath them. And it's sad because so many of them, it is ingrained in them. I saw someone posted an interview. I don't remember who it was. Maybe it was Josephine or something, had an interview where I think it was Arthur Edwards, that photographer. And it was just so sad because I realized that's how they all see themselves. Because he was saying about Harry and Meghan, well, they're not working royals. So what are they? They're nothing. If you're not working royal, then you're nothing. And I was like, oh my gosh. Forget about Harry and Meghan for a second. This is really how they see themselves. If they're not a royal, then they see themselves as nothing. And they've been trained to believe that they can't accomplish what the royals have, or they can't achieve what they have, because if you're not a royal, then you're nothing. To even think that Harry and Meghan, because they're not working royals, they're nothing, then what does that make you? If you think of them as nothing, so then what does that make you? And I'm like, no wonder y'all sit there and bow and kiss their feet, because you really think of yourselves as nothing. It is so sad. I was like, oh my gosh. I didn't realize how bad it was until he said it. And I was like, my goodness. They really, really see themselves that way. And no wonder they're angry at Meghan, because Meghan comes in and she's like, yeah, I don't see myself in that way. I know my worth. I know my value. And so that's why they always behave like she is acting above her station, because they see themselves so little that they can't fathom not bowing and worshiping royalty. And it's just like, wow, that is so deep. Yeah, Terry. Oh, nobodies. That's right. He called them nobodies. Thank you, Terry. Nobodies. So again, if you're thinking and Harry and Meghan are royals and they are nobodies if they're not working royals, then what does that make you? Exactly. And so again, it's why they just bow and worship and kiss their feet, because it's kind of like, sheesh, that's how you see yourself? As nothing? I'm just like, wow. Now it's so clear why they do the things they do and why they're just so subservient. I mean, if that is the attitude that pervades, they will never become a republic. They'll always be just subjects in their own land, which is so sad. They do have a primitive mindset. I mean, in the year of our Lord 2024, I can't imagine. I was like, what? I was like, dude, it's 2024. You still have that attitude? And yes, he does. So, and of course, yes, he's still whining about the Sussexes not being there. And of course, being shut out. I'm sure he's thinking all of the money that he could have made on that trip, but he was shut out. Let's see. Connie says the next invitation for our faves is somewhere in the clouds, making its way to Montecito. I know, or maybe they have it already, because remember, this one for Colombia, they were invited over a year ago. So yeah, I'm sure they probably have it already and just probably working on it, and we don't know. So since Meghan was sort of telecasting it in with her outfits, maybe we should pay attention to whenever she does something now, where the designer is from, because she was doing that Colombian person for like over a year. So let's see if her other clothes are coming from a specific country, then maybe that's the country. I don't know that they're going to be going next. So me, somebody who's not into fashion, definitely is going to be paying attention now. Joy says, let's see, Charles and Edward and Andrew are never going to change. The change would come from William and Harry has made the change. The UK press owns William and Charles. Yeah, I totally see that. And even with all of this stuff, I think even just Harry banning them for this trip, which should have happened years ago. I remember years and years ago, when I first started just really being in Sussex Squad, I posted this, and I remember it getting so many hits. They were going on their trip to South Africa just before the South Africa trip, and I remember posting on my old account that I discontinued, wishing that Harry and Meghan would ban the British press. And so many people responded to that post. And I wish I still had that account so I can, retweet it again, and I remember Sussex Squad podcast, they contacted some student reporters on the ground and got some students to report, to do the reporting underground from the South Africa trip. So and I remember that, and I was like, oh my gosh, that wish that I had all those years ago was 2019, all of a sudden came for the Colombia trip. They literally were able to ban them, because I know one of the things that they were saying at the time was that because it's a royal trip and because they're taxpayer funded, they can't ban the press. And so I realized that a couple of days ago that all those years ago, that wish that I had came true. That they were able to ban them outright. And so hopefully going forward, that is the case. And they still can't believe that they got banned. And of course, they're still whining about it. So yeah. Let's see. Black Queen is like, nobodies. Harry and Meghan are nobodies. They continue to be sour grapes, eating hyenas. Yes, of course it's sour grapes. Of course it's sour grapes. They can't get what they want, so they try in every which way to pull people down. Totally sour grapes. Totally. So yeah, and of course, now I think they're backing away a little bit about the nonsense about the Colombian taxpayer paying for the Sussex strip. So yeah, unbelievable. They're just bitter, bitter, bitter. That's the thing. They're bitter. Sharon Maitland says it is kind of what Bob Marley said in his song "Mental Slavery." I'm telling you, total mental slavery, totally. And it's just like it's really sad. It is really sad to see people have this mentality in the year of our Lord 2024. I was like, people, come on. But especially the older royals, the older ones who have been you know following the queen and so been so all up in it. I don't think they could change now. I don't think they can ever get out of that. Yes, mental slavery. They can't do it. So yeah. Cookies and Cream says, if Arthur thinks that the Sussexes are nobodies, why is he salivating over them? Why he keeps crying about not meeting Meghan? Meghan will never speak. Will never speak with any of these lying racist vermin. Exactly. Well, again, the thing is money. Money. That's how they pay their bills. Money, money, money. They want the money. And they resent her because they can't be her. They resent her because she's a black woman and she has what they all want and can't have. They resent her because she has access they would only dream of having. And so yeah, and so all you put all of that stuff together, it's kind of like so they are lashing out because again they can't have what it is they want. And they want her statue, they want her money, they want her fame. Someone from Squad posted a photo of what's her name with the wig, Nana, the bad wig, Nana. How Nana, after Meghan wore that dress at the Vanity Fair event, Nana posted a photo, I guess, of herself wearing a dress just like Meghan's. And then wasn't her name E.L. Holmes or whatever her name is, who had bashed Meghan before and then all of a sudden is now claiming that she's all about the Sussexes. She posted a photo. I think Josephine reposted it on her platform. I guess this Holmes woman posted a photo of herself. She bought the outfit that Meghan wore on the first day in Colombia. The blue, I think it looks like a dark blue outfit, the pantsuit and the sleeveless top that she was wearing. She purchased the same outfit and just modeling it on her page, I guess. And it's like, these people hate Meghan, but they want to be her. And it's just like, y'all sitting on your platforms hating on this woman, yet everything she does you follow. Every clothes she wears you imitate and want to have. And again, a lot of it is just jealousy. They cannot have what she has, so they attack. And it's just like, people. Claudia Sim says, Petal, also she's not bowing down to them. Exactly. And they can't handle it. That's why to this day so many of them would attack Meghan, because there was a part of the Harry and Meghan docu-series where Meghan is mocking herself doing a bowing to the Queen, and to this day clueless people on social media claim that Meghan is mocking the Queen, and they go into these rants about Meghan disrespecting the Queen. And it's kind of like in their mind they can't imagine someone doing, and I'm like, Meghan isn't bowing to these people, and she's not bowing to royalty, and they just can't handle that Meghan doesn't have the reverence that they have for the Queen. And again, I'm not sure why these people have this reverence for this person. Even my mom, I have to ask, like, why do you like this person? My mom is like, I don't know, I just like her. My mom could, she even admit to this day, she's all about the Queen and has no idea why. She's like, well, what has the Queen ever done? She cannot tell me. She's yet to tell me to this day what the Queen and why. She's like, I don't know, I just like her. And that's the thing. Nobody can tell me why they have this reverence for this person and what she's done. It's always like, oh, but she's reigned for 70 years or whatever it is. And she has accomplished so much, and nobody can tell me what that accomplishment has been. Like, I need be specific about that accomplishment. And nobody is able to say. So it's crazy. Anne says, oh, she's talking to Lorna. Harry and Meghan will try to ban the British press at IG Canada, but it might not happen as Canada is one of the UK major Commonwealth countries, along with New Zealand and Australia. Yeah, I am petty, and I want exactly that. I want them to ban them, but my big dream is for them to go to the UK in 2017 for the Birmingham Games and ban the press in their own country. For me, that would be epic. That would be epic. Like, ban them in their own country. Now, that would take some, cojones. But I am all about that. I am all about that. I'm like, nope, you can't come. I know this is your country, but we're banning you anyway. So, I mean, again, it's Harry's country too, so he can do whatever he wants. But I think that would be epic if they banned them from their own country. But again, I am petty like that, so I would do that. Let's see. Oh, she was amazing, God. Yeah, this is really fun, and I am honestly in it for way too long, so I'm gonna have issues tonight with my allergies. I have been around these flowers for way too long. And I could already start feeling it. So but it's pretty out here, and I was like, well, sometimes it's worth it. Sometimes it's worth it to hang out among nature, and even if it bothers and it's not the best for me, but it's just so pretty. So I'm like that sometimes. I take the punishment. Let's see what else you guys are saying. What do you mean? What is some shade? What do you mean, Anne? Literally or figuratively? Shading them. Let's see. Lorna says, as a Canadian, I can tell you, yes, Prince Harry can ban the press from Invictus Games press conferences, but from the public events, it's much harder. King Chucky or the UK government has no say. So yeah, I mean, I hope they ban them, because I mean, if you could look, you would have never thought that you could do something like that. Say, for example, like we have the elections coming up, right? And VP Kamala Harris is running. You would have never thought that you would have a situation where she's literally just giving the mainstream press the hand. And that is what she's doing now. They are very upset that she is just literally shunning them. And the convention just happened a few days ago for like 4 days. And the mainstream press, many of them, including one of the reporters who was in Colombia complaining that Harry and Meghan banned the BBC, she was also at the convention. And what has been happening, and not just her, but other mainstream media has been saying, is that a lot of premier seats that usually go to the press, those reserved seats for the press, they have been gutted, and what they've done is they have put content creators, like people, who have big TikTok accounts and have been really supporting the vice president, or all through her campaign and stuff. They have given them the seat and basically banish a lot of the mainstream media to the cheap seats. And so they are complaining about that. You would have never seen that, years ago, or even say the last election, where they're not, where a vice presidential candidate refuses to sit with the mainstream media. And I think the thing is, mainstream media is becoming obsolete, which is why I keep saying I don't know why the Sussexes are still using mainstream media. The bigger and the better option is to go with content creators, especially those who are really good at social media, who can really put the hammer on outlets like the Daily Mail. If you watch what happened when the Sussexes went to Beyonce concert, and then the Daily Mail they started posting all this stuff about Harry, hating it and hating being there and all of this stuff. And then that one guy who he was in the next door suite to them started posting all of these videos of Harry and Meghan dancing and all of those stuff. And that one content creator slapped down the British press so badly, they became like a laughing stock. And then his content got millions of views. And that's the thing. Oh, that's all you need. It's content creators who are getting, these people can rack up millions of views in like minutes. Those are who you need to get your word out. Not mainstream media, because mainstream media is becoming obsolete, and they know it. That's why they're complaining. And so believe me, that's what I think the Sussexes need to be doing, especially like IG coming up. You don't need the mainstream media, because you know what they're going to be doing, and they're going to just be ruining. You need people who are invested, like the squad, who are invested in Invictus Games, who care about the soldiers, who are going to be there and posting the important things and interviewing the veterans, and just being all up in there and not focusing on mainstream press, and then have to worry about the nonsense, especially the British press, that they're going to be posting. I'm telling you, this is what Kamala Harris has done. And that's why the mainstream press they are just complaining and complaining and complaining about it. And she's just giving them the hand, because they've all been attacking her for no reason and lying on her and doing all this gossip about her. And so, yes, I'm still waiting on her to change her stance on Palestine, which she hasn't done. And so I'm like, when you decide to change your stance, we'll talk about supporting you. But until then, no. But I do like her stance with the press. I do like the fact that she is just ignoring them, and she is giving her content, and it has paid off. It has completely paid off. So mainstream press are now realizing, like, oh, wow, she is getting all of this, and her poll numbers have gone up and all of that stuff, all of that without us. And so they are seeing how much they are irrelevant. So, yeah, and this is exactly what Archwell needs to do. Connie says, Petal, please write to Archwell Foundation and give them this tip. You know what? Maybe I should. Because I from day one, I never understood why they are doing stuff with even CBS or NBC. I'm like, dude, that is like so 2000. This is 2024. It's like that is so obsolete. Your audience is not there. Mainstream press plays the older audience. Older American audiences are more royalists. Your audience are on TikTok. Your audiences are on Netflix. Not Netflix. Your audiences are on Twitter or now X, or name the social media platform. They're not on mainstream media. And so I was like, I don't understand this craziness that they're doing with me. And like, why are you taking these news outlets with you? That's not where your audience is. So yeah, but again, they're getting better. They're not there yet, and they haven't figured it out yet. So, maybe by IG 20, maybe by Invictus next year, they'll figure out like, oh, wait, let's do something. Let's do something different. let's actually invite people who can get our word out the way we want to get it out, not adding stupid stuff and not adding, and not adding royals into it and all of that nonsense. Give people who really care about the message and the issues, give those people the passes. Don't give people passes who are just gonna be looking for the gossip and things and just completely ignore the great work that you're doing and the great accomplishments of the veterans. Nobody cares about British press and their gossip. So yeah. Joy says, Pedal, you need to stay involved with some mainstream media along with the digital world. You just have to weed out the bad ones. Everyone has a different, and I get it. I totally get your point, and I just don't agree with it, but I totally get your point, and I feel that's their thinking as well. That's their thinking. I don't believe in mainstream media because I see on a daily basis how much they lie, and I can't put my trust in people that just lie. They outright, it's about, for me, when I literally see the truth and I know the truth and then I watch what they're doing, it's like, but that's a lie. You're spinning stuff and not exactly speaking the truth. So for me, I can't trust anything that they say because I see them lying on a daily basis. But I understand that. Like Joyce has a different opinion, and I respect that. I totally respect that. I just see it differently, and I see mainstream media, just like I see a lot of things, it's just becoming obsolete. Sometimes it just takes people a minute to realize it and to switch over to, because I remember having this kind of conversation just before COVID. I remember Steven Spielberg going on a hissy fit because he's so used to his movies being released in a movie theater, and then you have that sort of the big release in a movie theater, it stays there for a month, whatever, and then they sort of slowly release it on they slowly release it on streaming platforms, and then it goes to DVD, and then it's all, by the time it gets to streaming, it's about 3 months in. And I always argued about that because I'm like, I don't like going to the movie theater at all in any sense of the word, because it's kind of like you're there with a bunch of people who are talking behind you and you're trying to enjoy the movie, and the popcorn is so expensive and it's just too stressful, and I never enjoyed going to the movie theater. So I remember having these arguments with people all the time about just how ridiculous that is, that you can have it released where people who want to go to the theater could see it in the theater. Also, people like me who don't like going to the movie theater and it's just too stressful, you can also sit home and watch it on your computer or your phone or wherever. Give people the option of watching it wherever they want to, as opposed to 3 months after the film comes out. And so I would have these arguments all the time. And I remember Steven Spielberg going off about, how this is ridiculous and movies are supposed to be released in the theaters and all of this craziness. And there was a whole big brouhaha about it. And then COVID hit. And what happened? Nobody could go to the movie theater. Nobody could go. And where did movies have to be released? Online, because everybody had to be home because COVID. And so all of a sudden, it's like, oh, you mean we could actually do this and still make money? And it's just like, yeah. So, yeah, it's just like, sometimes it just takes people a minute to get with the idea that change or they are coming, and you got to get with the program. So, yeah. Oh, well, Lord, thank you. I didn't even plan on talking about any of this stuff. It just is coming up. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying it. So Joyce says, you need to stay involved. Oh, wait. No, I think I just read that. Yes, Joyce. I totally get your point. Totally get it. Connie says, but we can help them now and not next year. So, you know what? Yeah, maybe we should write and I will do that. I will also write to them and suggest that. Follow in Kamala Harris's footsteps. Get content creators. Get those who are really passionate about your projects, and invite them along, because they're going to focus on the things you want to be focused on. The squad is going to focus on what you want us to focus on. the issues, the organizations, the veterans, whatever it is. We're not here for gossip. We don't care. So yeah, um, and so and get people who have larger platforms. I mean, Barron. Oh my gosh, Barron has like how many now? Like 60,000 followers. I mean, hello. So get people like that being excited, and get content creators who are excited about what you're excited about, and by them getting them involved, it'll build their platform, and more people will come on their platform to know about your work, because so it's a win-win for everybody. So I think that's the way they should go. And Joyce disagrees, and that's fine. But but I mean, again, as Joyce says, it's not all mainstream media that's bad. But I would say if they go with any, say written or television, whatever, independent ones are the better ones, because the ones who like the CBSs and the MSNBC, they are corporate, and they have to follow it, whatever their corporate bosses or whoever is financing them want them to say, whatever, and they usually go with whatever brings them the money. So even when they are quote unquote trying to focus on the issue stuff, they're all gonna bring in gossip stuff in there, because why? The gossip stuff is what they feel like would make them the money, and that is the irritating part of it. So yeah, Black Queen says Petal, she kind of has to wait it out until she's elected. She did say she is against the killings. It is in support of ceasefire and a separate settlement. Most importantly, we need to preserve democracy. Honestly, yeah, that is nonsense. Not what you're saying. What you just said, Black Queen, is completely actually what she said. And yes, so you're correct in that. But for Kamala, what she did in her speech, especially about Palestine, is literally repeat exactly what Joe Biden said, not even a month ago in his speech. Almost word for word, she memorized that speech and said exactly what he said. It's a narrative that they have and that they just spew out. And basically, it's just, people call word salad. It's just a lot of words about saying nothing. She knows the truth and she refused to speak the truth. There will not be a ceasefire. Why? Because they are funding Benjamin Netanyahu. They are, even recently, they just released $20 billion to basically prop up Israel's economy that is crashing, and make sure that they have all the weapons they need. They just literally, one of the big warships is now, it's probably has arrived there by now, to back up Israel. Then there's not going to be a ceasefire. And another thing which she did not say is the fact that one of the big reasons why there will not be a ceasefire is because Benjamin Netanyahu, every single time, this is what, the fourth, fifth times they're like, oh, we're close to a peace deal, and hopefully Hamas accepts this deal, and Hamas should accept this deal. It is a lie. This is like the fifth time they're doing exactly the same thing. The Secretary of State will go to Israel, they'll claim there's a peace deal, they'll be like lifting people's hope, like, yeah, it's kind of close, and it is a lie, because every single time Benjamin Netanyahu will put out a release, the Americans know that we're not going to be a peace deal, we're not signing anything until we have reached our goal, which is to basically destroy Hamas, that is even a lie, because that is not their goal. They go until we receive or get back our hostages. Again, a lie. That is not their goal. Their goal has never been to get Hamas back, to destroy Hamas or to get hostages back. In fact, they've killed more hostages than they have released. And their goal has never been about Hamas. It's always been ethnic cleansing, so that they will steal Palestinian land, which is what they're doing. Not even only in Gaza, but also in the West Bank, which Hamas is not even in the West Bank. They're doing it in Jenin. Hamas is not in Jenin. They're now literally wiping out all the Christian communities and the Christian churches. There's all of it is there. So it's all a lie. She knows all of this, and she refuses to speak the truth. And so that whole speech, although yes, it sounds great and people were applauding, it was a lie. She knows it was a lie. She knows it's a lie. And there's not going to be a peace, because every single time they do that, Benjamin Netanyahu, and it's not like he's even hiding it. He puts it out there. He puts it on video. No, we're not accepting it. And they keep doing it because they know they have a media that can twist it so Americans will buy it. It is a lie. It is false. And no amount, so from today, you don't have to believe me, but go back and see all this. It's the same narrative. They've been doing this. It's like the 5th time they've done the exact same thing. Go back and look at the last speech from the president and match it up against her words that she said in her speech. Almost literally word for word what he said. It's the same narrative, and then they send money to to Israel so that they could continue the bombing. It's the same narrative. This is a let me try to get elected thing. That is, no, she will not change it when she gets elected. The pressure has to be now. That she knows she's not going to get the votes until she changes her policy. I want to be supporting her. I want to be out here talking and supporting her, but I'm not going to support her as she supports a genocide and as they continue to fund it. This is her policy. They're not going to change. That's like marrying someone and expecting them to change after you marry them. They're not going to change. You're marrying who you're marrying. It's the same thing. You are voting for someone and you're basically marrying them to your country. That's who you're marrying. They're not going to change. And it's not fair on them to marry someone and then expect them to change. No, you're marrying who you're marrying. And we have to understand that she's not going to change her policy. She is a Zionist. Her husband is a Zionist. That's how they are. And they're not going to change it. So until she changes her policy, I'm not supporting her. That's for me. That's how I'm going with that one. Doris says, Pella, remember that I wrote to the White House regarding the cease, and Blinken is working on a ceasefire. Again, the same thing. They're not working on a ceasefire. They know it's not going to happen. That is just for the American public. That is for us to think, oh, they're doing something. You don't work for a ceasefire yet arm the person who is committing genocide. How do you work for a ceasefire when you're arming the person who is committing genocide against people who can't defend themselves? How is that? How are you going to gain a ceasefire when you refuse to, even in the West Bank, with people literally going and taking people's home, burning land, as we speak, that's what they're doing. And then you refuse to prosecute them, you refuse to sanction them, you refuse to stop, do an arms embargo against Israel. You refuse to do all of those things that you can do. How exactly are you going to get a ceasefire when you refuse to do the basic things that would create a ceasefire? How are you going to get it? So again, those are lies. And the vice president knows this. And so I'm sorry, I can't buy into the she'll change when she's elected nonsense. That is, again, that's like marrying someone and expecting them to change after you've married them. No. If they are this way before you marry them, that's who you're marrying. That's who they are. And it's not fair to expect them to change when you knew who they were when you married them. So yeah. So that's kind of where I am with that. I am hoping she changes, but again, pressure must be put on her to change it. Pressure must be, she cannot expect to get votes when she is doing that. Again, and then you have the other issue with the orange one who is there. Neither of these people should be elected if that's what they're doing, because he's going to do pretty much the same thing. The only difference with them is that he blatantly tells you what he's going to do. That's the difference. She hides it and he just blatantly says, Israel is basically, I'm just going to give them the opportunity to just wipe out Gaza. That's his own thing. So again, she needs to change her policy, but pressure must be put on before November so that she changes it. I believe she can, and I believe if the enough pressure is put there, she will change it. Fingers crossed, much pressure needed. So yeah. Lorna says, yeah, that is true. Every time you hear the word ceasefire, that's true. Benjamin Netanyahu backs out. Yeah, again, this is like the 5th time we're doing the same exact thing. It's like you do the same exact thing and expect a different result. Benjamin Netanyahu does not want a ceasefire. He is not interested in a ceasefire. What he's interested in is occupying Gaza, occupying the West Bank, occupying Jenin. That is what he's interested in. He's not interested in a ceasefire. He will never give in to it. And that's the thing. You have to make him. He's not going to back down until you make him. And the United States refused to do that. So how are you going to get a ceasefire? How exactly that's going to happen? So that's the crazy thing about that. So again, pressure. But on the other hand, she's already taken 5 million from their lobby group. So that's another issue. When you take their money, it's like, you know. Anyways, enough about that. I didn't plan on talking about Kamala Harris and that mess. So yeah, enough about that. So let's see. What else is there? But yeah, it behooves all of us. And says stop supplying the weapons. Exactly. It behooves every single American who care about this issue to put pressure on them. It's like, no, you do not get my vote until you change this, because over 70% of Americans want a ceasefire. Why are you doing otherwise? Because if you're there and you're elected to serve the American people, then how is that serving the American people when the majority want this thing and you refuse to? Why? Because you took money from a foreign government. How are you serving the American people when you took money from a foreign government, and two, you're not doing what the American people want you to do? How is that serving the Americans? So then if you're doing that, should you be the president of this country? The answer, it should be obvious. Should be absolutely obvious. So yeah. Let's see. Joy said, Harry and Meghan were on Sunday morning with Jane Pauley with CBS. That's mainstream media. And it was a good interview. Yeah, that's true. That is true. That it was a very good interview, highlighting Archwell's program or Archwell's Foundation's initiative for families parents who's lost kids because of online bullying, etc. So yeah, that was definitely very good, and I definitely commend that. Totally good. So yeah, you definitely do have a point there. So yeah, you definitely have a point. So that's good. That was a good interview. That was a very good interview. So yeah. But anyways, sorry, I didn't mean to go off into Kamala Harris's stuff. Let's see, a couple more before we end. Thank you, Connie. It's like the Sussexes need all ideas. Hey, definitely email people. If you haven't already, email ideas to them. I'm sure. I mean, I don't know who reads their emails and stuff, and if it's passed on to them. But hey, I'm sure every bit will help, and it could at least give them different options, ideas of different options if they hadn't thought about it. So yeah. Let's see. A couple more. Cookies and Cream says, Joy, CBS has always been fair to the Sussexes. They initially aired the Oprah interview. Yes, they did. NBC is pure garbage. I'm glad the Sussexes don't deal with them at all. Yeah, I know. I think the only time I remember NBC, well, actually, when at The Hague, Hoda did the interview. Actually, it was a really good interview, I have to say. That was when I unblocked them, and Hoda she went to the games in The Hague and interviewed Harry there. She actually really did a great job, I have to say. It was like a 2-part interview, and she interviewed Harry, and then she interviewed a couple of the other veterans there who were participating, and then she came back and had chatted with Jenna and somebody else is in the studio, whoever else is in the studio with them. And she was so impacted by it, and they were blown away by what she learned at the games. So that actually was really good. So I guess NBC had a moment. I blocked them again, so I don't know I don't know what they are now. Black Queen says, Petal, you are a warrior for humanity. I'm just about human rights. That's just it. I mean, I know about the warrior part, but thank you. I just believe in human rights and equality, and I just can't and especially situations where people cannot defend themselves. That's just, you're beating up on, it's like, what is it that, what is it that to kill a mockingbird you don't kill mockingbirds, because they're just literally there singing. And I kind of feel that way. It's kind of like, you're beating up on people that cannot defend themselves. You're stealing from people who cannot, defend themselves or protect themselves. That is wrong. That is wrong. And so I think all of us, I mean, I think we all have, that heart to protect people, protect human rights, because God forbid it's me. I would want someone to protect my rights, and my humanity. And so I think it behooves all of us to do that, because, right now the U.S. is, prospering and whatever, but there may come a day when we are refugees here. What are we going to do? Who are we going to turn to? And if you're not standing up for other people, then we can't expect when we're in need, somebody's going to stand up for us. You know what I mean? So we always have to think ahead, like, okay, if I was in need, what would I need? So yeah. Anne Louise says, are they still raising money for Harry's birthday, IG Canada? I have no idea. I didn't know they were raising money for Harry's birthday. Oh, I had no idea. Oh, good to know. I don't know. The only thing I know for Harry's birthday is Karen doing the event in New York. That is the only thing I know for Harry's birthday. So who knows? I don't know. Let's see. Let's see. And it was because the business taxes and where RO is licensed as a business, I would say no. Okay, so I'm not sure. I'm sure you're responding to someone, and I'm not sure what that's about. So, anyways, guys, I am running off to eat. I am hungry. Thank you for hanging out with me in the park. Just hanging on this Saturday afternoon. It is a beautiful day. Hopefully the rest of the weekend stays this way. But have a great day. Have wherever you are, whatever you're doing. I love you guys, and I guess I will chat with you next time. Bye, everyone. Happy Saturday. Bye. Oh, I see all the loves. How do you do that in here? I can't figure out from doing this straight from YouTube how to do it. I can figure it out on StreamYard, but I can never figure out how to do that to send love. But sending you from verbal love. Have a great Saturday, everyone. Bye. See you.